Bhavender Paul. I'm an adjunct professor at IIT Mandi, and I'd like to tell you about a short story that I had in my early part of my career as a student. I went to the United States from India after a bachelor's degree in chemical engineering, and I went into a department called Chemical and Biochemical Engineering. And it was a good school. And my first project had to do with droplet combustion, simulating a droplet combustion using differential equations. Since I was a new kid from India, I was willing to work on any project that they gave me. And so I just worked at it. It turned out to be something that involved Fortran programming. But that was new for me, but I was glad to learn anything new. But after a year and a half in the United States, I became bolder, and I began to ask myself, do I like this work? And I felt that, gee, who cares about how a little droplet burns, and the equations? And I wasn't even sure how practical or accurate my equations were. Nevertheless, I built a little model and I could get the degree. But at the end of the degree, I concluded that what some of my colleagues in the department were doing in biochemical engineering was a lot more interesting, because they were dealing with things like enzymes, and things went from being a dead molecule like a protein to something that was active like an enzyme. So I thought I'd like to do a PhD in biochemical engineering. And my advisor had no knowledge of biochemical engineering at that time, or any related field. He was very much into mathematical modeling and traditional chemical engineering problems. So for a couple, 3 weeks, I practiced with the help of my friends how I'm going to go tell my advisor, Professor Allert, Robert Allert, that nothing against you personally. I actually enjoyed working with you, but I actually have decided that I find biochemical engineering more interesting, and sir, I won't be working with you going forward. And to my shock, I was expecting that his reaction could either be trying to talk me out of it, or be upset, or he might say, well, okay, that's fine. Those were my expectations. But instead, he listened to me, and to my horror, came up with a response that completely cornered me. I had not prepared for it at all. And he said, I think you're right. It is more interesting to work with things that are live and biochemical type stuff. I've been thinking the same. Let's both switch fields on this. And he will continue with his other projects that were in modeling and stuff. But he said to me that let's do a project that will be to your interest. And so that actually changed my life substantially, because I ended up then staying with that advisor. And since he did not have experience in the field, I had to essentially do a lot of learning on my own. At the time, I complained about it to my friends, but it actually made me learn how to be more independent. And then later in my life, that was helpful when I went into new fields, and I actually had several instances where I had to start in new areas. But I kind of felt, well, since I've done it before, maybe I can do it again. Thank you for listening.